And we're back for Foreign Friday after a 1-week hiatus. Thomas, hopefully you're feeling a touch better than you were last week.
As I said to you, it wouldn't take much.
Yes. I was not sure if it was our picks that made you not feel well or just the flu that's kind of floating around, or the one of 20 different ailments that seems to be making its way through Chicago.
Yes. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, so the interpretation is meant to be wide open for sure.
Yeah, and it certainly is.
Before we get cracking, like always, want to let everybody know if you're interested in free stuff and who's not, you can get some free picks over at Guaranteed Tip Sheet. There is a link in the description wherever you found us. Just head on over there with that link, hit that Tip Sheets link right there on the top, and you will see that tonight, if that's your thing, on Friday night, Churchill Downs. Charlestown. I was going to say Churchill again, but that's that CTE kicking in. But here we go. Charlestown. For the third time, I was going to say Churchill Downs. Free track on Friday night. Not quite sure what we'll make free for Saturday, but there's always one track for free every day. So why not take advantage of that? Hit the link wherever you're following us so they know where you came from. Also, no matter how you're watching, if you're watching on Twitter, you're watching on YouTube, kindly hit the retweet, share our content on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, follow if you have not done so already. We greatly appreciate everybody following us and becoming a subscriber. We're about 4,000 away from 10,000 on both. We'd like to hit 10,000 by the end of 2025, both on Twitter and on YouTube. So if you haven't done so, hit the subscribe button. Help us hit those goals. It's free. You just take this, click, and it's over. Just like that. You could have done it already. All right, Thomas, this week we're going to do Sha Tin, a little bit of an insomnia racing. It's Saturday morning, Sunday afternoon over there in Hong Kong. So I know you'll be up late. I'll be sleeping for certain. Is there any significance to this week's handful of races?
Now we got 2 Group 1s.
Those are always exciting over there for sure. I have plenty of opportunity to make money. The first race we're going to do is race 5. It's the Seasons Bloom Handicap. This is not a race 5. It's a class 4 with a rating of 60 to 40. In this case, Thomas, they're going to run 1,400 meters. And then I got to press the right button to see 1,400 meters starts here. They'll wind their way around the track this way, come on home. And if I remember from our experience at Sha Tin, even though you got that long runway in the back, you probably need a little bit of late legs to get the job done.
You sure do.
All right. Let's take a look at what the speed map is going to tell us about this race. We do find Beauty Glory likely to be the pace setter. A whole bunch of horses going to keep Beauty Glory company. So maybe if closers are what you're looking for, maybe from here back might be the place that you want to look, Thomas. Or you can look at Thomas's picks, and he'll share them with us right now. Who do you have on top of your ticket?
I'm going to start with number 6, Seamus Storm. He did a reasonable effort in his first start. He ran second, but he was really no match for the winner. He raced about 3-4 wide, so got used a little bit on those. And he did enough to hold it off the rest pretty nicely. And he gets a better draw tonight. And I think if he goes off that first effort, he should really be tough to beat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with 7, Noble Fans. It's another one who had its first career start last time. And settled mid-pack, went 2 wide, moved between horses. Just finishing. The jockey was asking and just didn't finish completely. So obviously Classic needs a race. We'll see. Finally, I'm going to take number 8, Smiling Collector, my final choice. So we'll settle off the pace last time. And this was different because he hadn't done this in his previous starts. It just didn't, he wasn't strong enough to pick it up at the end. Is the best way to describe it. We're going to change distances. The last 2 races were at 1,600 meters. He's going to go to 1,400 meters. I think that may help.
I'm going to go with number 4, Mr. Energia, the 4-horse in there. Got Zach Purton riding that one. He's the top jockey there. And if you take a look at those race internals, I think this one's going to be absolutely flying at the end of the race. And that's the same story for the horse on top of it, too. My second pick, Galvanic. one of 3 class droppers in this race. And this horse's final quarter numbers look a lot like first quarter numbers for some sprinters at places like Parks. Number 10, Golden Tronic Mighty. Yeah, some of these names are fun to say. If you look at this horse's comment sections for the last 3 races, nothing but problems, just finding trouble. I don't know if it finds trouble or trouble finds it, but I think this horse is one that's likely to relish going a little bit longer today, get itself untangled and have some time to make a fix. And then like you, I like that Shamus Storm, that 6-horse Thomas on second race improvement. And typically that's when horses can make the biggest gains, is between the debut and round number 2.
Yeah, the only thing with your picks is drawing 14 for your top choice. That's takes some work.
Well, of course, I think he can overcome it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put him there. Anyhow, race number 6, the Centenary Sprint Cup. This time they're going to go 1,200 meters. This one is a Group 1, one of the 2 Group 1s that Tom mentioned at the top. So looking at 1,200 meters, they're going to start here. That turn's going to come kind of quickly. So I know I mentioned back here, despite the long runway, you better have some late legs. But I think scooting up a little bit closer to that turn probably puts a little bit more emphasis on the front end speed. Tom, what do you say?
This should be a good paced race. So, I think it's going to be ones that classic sitting right off the lead type of horse to win this one.
So looking right off the lead here, we have Victor, the winner. Well, I guess you just leave it at that. With that name, you need not do anything else. Kai Ying Rising, Magic Control, they should be in front right there, maybe great stalking position. You might find Invincible Sage and Beauty Waves. Lucky with you, How Deep Is Your Love? All right, and Helios Express. Those 3 will be trailing. So if Tom is correct, you might want to be looking at these 4 right here as your potential winners. Or once again, you could be looking at Tom's picks as your potential winners. Who do you got?
Yeah, it's hard to pass number 1, Kai Ying Rising. Career-wise, 11 starts, 9 wins, and his other 2 races are seconds. Last time out, good start, very powerful at the end again. Draws the outside again. That hasn't bothered him in the past, and Victor, the winner, should be setting a good pace for him for something to run at. Mm-hmm. And he's good at that. And let's face it, he could be one of the best sprinters in the world right now.
Yeah, I mean, look over here in the last 6 runs.
Yeah,
1. His 6 wins in a row.
And 3, Helios Express will be next choice. He lost last time out to the top choice. He had some issues in that race. This is the kind of horse that makes one run. As you saw on the speed map, he is going to be probably dead last. And I think he can, again, get the rest of the field, but I don't know if he's good enough to catch the one that's hot, to say the least. I'm going to go take an 8, Magic Control, as my final choice. This is one that appears to be on the improve, and obviously moving up to a Group 1 for the first time. He's run nice races against some decent horses, and he's lost. Last time he lost by a head. The other thing is that's changing. He's going from 1,000 meters to 1,200 for the first time. That's one I would watch the board on. Mm-hmm. The bettors are interested in it. There may be something there, but if not, the other kicker here is I do not know that rider. From the numbers I saw there, he's not started yet in Hong Kong, so that's a bit of a wild card too.
Well, I agree with you, Tom. How do you go against a horse that's won 6 in a row and then loves the track and distance 11 times out, 9 of them in the winner's enclosure, 2 of them close seconds. Magic Control is next for me. That horse all the way on the other end of the boxes here. I think, like you pointed out, going a little bit extra today, that might be the right answer for this horse. And so far, this horse has shown some blistering final quarter times. Helios Express. So you and I are seeing top 3, just in a slightly different order. This horse likes the good to firm footing. I think that's what we'll get on Saturday night into Sunday morning, depending upon where you are. And in the last 9 races, it's hit the board in 8 of them. That's the kind of consistency if I owned a horse I would like. And then finally from you, Beauty Waves, the 7 horse. This one is another that's at his best on the kind of footing that I expect that they'll see Saturday night, Sunday morning, and should be one that puts out a better effort because last time out, you saw some improved pace. So Tom's Sign of Life horse. We're going to move off to Sound Print Handicap. I almost felt like there's missing an S there, no? Sound Sprint Handicap, but it's not. It's a print handicap. Again, a rating 80 to 60. It's a class 3. This time, again, 1,400 meters. So they're going to step back a little bit on that turf course. They're going to go over here. As we pointed out in race number 5, you probably want a horse that comes from a little bit off the pace. And the pace on this one's going to be good to slow, according to the folks at the Hong Kong Jockey Club. So maybe this might be an opportunity for Superb Boy or Gracious Express or Prestige Always. Maybe those front runners might have a chance to get up there and stay up there. Thomas, any of the front runners making it to the top of your ticket?
No. I went with 9. Light Years Charm. He's got 2 starts in Hong Kong. Really not had much late racing luck, to say the least. The first race, he was off slow, got blocked, came out at the end. His second race, he was bumped initially, raced wide, but then made good progress. This one, the jockey change is the key for me. You can see who's now going to ride him tonight.
Zach Perton.
Yeah, I think that may be the trick. He's been trying, just not good enough yet.
It's won a few races, that Perton guy.
Yeah, 1 or 2. 3, Prestige Always going to be an Agnes choice. Last time he was very keen early and had chances and then backed up, finished 7th. He's returning to 1,400 meters after running 1,600, and he's done okay at this distance. So he got a win in 2 seconds. I think he's going to return to form. Finally, I'm going to take the top choice, which is Superb Boy. He'll be the high weight in this bunch. He's faced much better horses without any success. This will be his second race at this level. Didn't do much last time, as you can see. Does have some speed, but has been dropping out at the end. I think a better trip. His draw is okay. New jockey, decent rider. I think it may help and could make a difference. But again, it does have that top weight, so.
They think a lot of it. So I'm going to go with Gracious Express, the one next to the second highest weight. That one is another one of those horses, Tom, that just seems to find itself in a mix or a tangle. If it can get a clean trip, I think that one has the best chance to win.
You're really liking those outside draws.
I'm feeling good about breaking the trends, Number 9, Light Years Charm. That's my next pick. That one in there, Thomas. Zach Perton, as you mentioned, you did point out that both of those horses both of its races have been marred by problems. Despite that, if you look at the final times, they're really pretty close to par for this level. So you iron out some of those wrinkles, get a little bit straighter line from the start to the finish, might be actually under par, which would give it a winning effort.
Well, he'll need it coming out of that one post.
Yeah, you got to be careful not to get boxed in and all kinds of different things. Winning gold, that's the objective for this horse right here. This one has been probably the top in this group at the track and the distance. So horse for the Hong Kong course. And then finally, Patch of Cosmo, number 12, maybe a little bit of a long shot. I don't know because we don't have any idea what the odds are going to be as of yet. But this is another one of those horses that for whatever reason this race is littered with, that just bumps into other horses, gets boxed in, gets blocked, always gets some problems. But again, a horse with a little bit of extra distance today where he might be able to work his way around some in-race issues should he find himself in trouble yet again. 2 races to go for you and me. That's going to be the Stewards Cup. That is the other Group 1 effort that we're going to talk about today, Thomas. Let me put the right banner up in there. The Stewards Cup is 1,600 meters again, so we're kind of waffling back and forth in the same sort of area. Well, this is the first time we're seeing 1,600 meters. We're going to start back in the chute. A little extra room to get into that turn. So, again, I don't know how important early speed is. I think it's really going to be positioning so you can come out of that turn with some momentum. Tom, would you agree with that being the most likely winning style?
Well, the likely front runner will be Beauty Eternal. So we'll see what kind of pace she puts on. Lately, California Spangle's not been running on the top, so we'll see.
It looks like they're going to go like the arc, 2x2x2 around the racetrack. Pace is expected to be good. And everybody should line up exactly where they want to be so that it turns that into a jockey's race or the best horse race, as they would call that. So who has the best horse here, Thomas?
I am going to take the prohibitive favorite, I think, in this race, which is number 1, Voyage Bubble. Definitely the now horse, running really well. He ran in the Group 1 last time out and won, and that was a race, of course, with both local and foreign horses in it. And I thought he did it pretty effortlessly. He's a stalker, and he's going to have something to run at because, as I said, there's some speed here. And, they won't get away with soft fractions. That's for sure. Is he the best miler in Hong Kong? Kind of argue not to be at this point. And if you're wondering, if you see that 17, that was a race in Japan. The race was won by Romantic Warrior, another Hong Kong-based runner. But yeah, he just didn't run that day. But the rest of them, you can see he's done okay lately. I am going to take that speed horse, that Beauty Eternal, number 3. I just think he's going to share the speed with California Spangle or cut the mile itself. Last time, had more challenging post and got to the lead, and really had to work. I mean, it has the 8 post, so it's going to have to work to get to the lead here too. But slow pace maybe. I think the other factor for me is that I don't think it can win is I think it wants a little more moisture in the ground. It seems to do a little better with the moisture. Its only Group 1 win was with a yielding course. So I'm going to put it in there, but I'm not for the top. Finally, I'm going to take 8, Patch of Thea. Class riser in this race. Been running against decent enough horses, but not at the Group 1 level. Good record. I mean, 14 starts, you got 6 wins, 4 seconds, and 4 thirds, and that's paying the bills. Good at this. Good. He had a good time at this distance in the past. So could he do it again? Sure. Are you going to get a price on him? I'd be surprised if you didn't.
Well, I think you're going to get a price on Galaxy. So you and I, you've got the 1, you've got the 3, and you've got the 8. The only one we agree on is 3. Otherwise, everything else, we have just about every horse in this race then. I have Galaxy Patch as my top pick. Loves the footing, absolutely. And the final quarter numbers in a race where you figure there's going to be some pace, they might be as fast in the final quarter as they go out in the first quarter. Chang Hang Glory, the 6 horse for me. This one, Thomas, it likes the track, likes the distance. 50% of the time in its dozen races, it's found its way to the winner's circle. And then finally, number 2, I'm going to go with the other kind of speedish horse, California Spangle. Absolutely has the class. I just wonder if maybe it's maxing out at distance. Maybe it's meant to run a little bit shorter. And then finally, Beauty.
Okay, and at the mile distance in the past. The question will be, you're older now. Let's see
if it still has it. Yeah. And then finally, the one we do agree on, Beauty Eternal. Zach Purton again. And when you look at this horse's final times for the conditions, they're right on par. So I think maybe Zach Purton could get a touch more out of this horse today. And maybe we could take out what might be the favorite in here. One last race to go for you and me this week, Thomas, barring any setbacks or unexpected things occurring. Any sense of what's on tap for next Foreign Friday?
Royal Renwick.
Perfect. So we know what we're going to do,
Yeah.
and we do.
This is one of the summertime festivals. We figure we need to go to warmer weather than this.
I
crap we're
wholeheartedly
having.
agree with you. Well, here Thomas and I are both in Chicago or the area, Chicagoland area, and I think Monday's supposed to be like -2 for a high. I don't.
Yeah, yeah, real heat wave.
Yeah, just psychologically looking at something warmer might actually feel warmer.
Yeah, I think
Right.
what did I say? Upper 80s, 90. I think is what tomorrow is going to be in that area of the world. So
How fortunate
slightly
some
different.
people are. Despite hanging by their feet, they get better weather this time of year. We appreciate that. Thank you for joining us from Turkey. We appreciate that too. We're going to talk about the Mr. Vitality Handicap for Sha Tin. This would be like right about the time I'm waking up on Sunday and Tom's going to bed, because Tom likes to be out partying. Mr. Vitality Handicap, Tom, they're going to run 1,400 meters. To start back here again, we've already established that you probably want to be middle of the pack with some late legs, and a lot of this race is going to be forward. So this might actually benefit, especially if the pace is good. This might be one where a horse comes from totally to the back, from worst to first, as a potential race-shaped winner. Tom, what do you think? How's it going to play out in your mind?
I'm going to start with number 4, Bundle of War, is my top choice. Showed life in the last race. This was his second start in Hong Kong. He had a good start, had some issues finding room, and then made good progress at the end. Is that enough? I think that's enough to say that he's gonna run a better race today.
Mm-hmm.
And and since this second start, I went back and looked at his past performances, and he's got 6 starts and 2 wins and 2 placings. So this is could be a pretty good horse. Who knows? 13, Midori Fuji is going to be my next choice. Those showed some pace in the 2 starts. Yeah, it's just showing greenness.
Mm.
And I think, dropping distance here. He's caught a slow pace last time. Hey, it's just one of those horses. I think you're going to see something happen positive. And I couldn't leave it out. I thought his first race was better than its second race, but it looked great. And based on the thing I read, it said it looked pretty green.
Mm.
And why not get a price? Finally, I'm going to take 3. Sky Trust is my final choice. I'm going to toss that last race. He did something different. He went to the lead and then backed up about 100 meters to go, and he finished 7th. So he basically got run over by everybody else. His better races have been in stalking positions. He's got doesn't have a great post. But I think to change a jockey and put him in a stalking position, let him maybe get a breather in there. He'll show up a lot better race this time around.
Solid Impact. I think that one's going to have a big impact on the race. I think he'll find the extra distance to his liking. You like Sky Trust? Well, that's where I'm going to go next, Thomas. Sky Trust is my second pick. Has won, he's most of his recent races on the resume would probably ending up in the winner's enclosure here. 14, Kai Ying Superb. Well, maybe we get a Kai Ying Superb race out of this one. Cutting back in distance, I think in this case might be the answer. And I figured, what the heck? I got him on every other one. Might as well finish out the show with him on this one too. Zach Burton, Romantic Sun. When all of the other horses are a coin toss, well, you might as well take the top jockey, because there's no probability problems with that at all. Again, next week, Tom and I will be back to do Royal Randwick for a little bit of summertime racing. That'll be fun. Glad that we'll be doing that. Of course, a little bit later on today, maybe a little bit, sometime later on today, I will put a recap of the show as well as a replay of the show, all of our notes and all of that good stuff on horseracingtoday.net. There'll be a link in the description wherever you're following us. Please use that to go on over there. And then while you're at Horse Racing Today, right here on the menu, HRT gear. It's going to be cold, as I mentioned, 5 degrees in Chicago, or minus degrees in Chicago. You can get yourself over here in the shop, just get yourself a hoodie or a sweatshirt. There you go. Looks just as good on women as men, and certainly will keep you warm when the temperatures outside are not. Free track again at Guaranteed Tip Sheet tonight. On Friday is Charlestown. Make sure you take advantage of that every single day using the link that we'll provide for you wherever you find our content. And then, of course, no matter where you're watching, if you haven't done so already, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube, hit the like button, share our content, tell everybody you know that likes horse racing about us, because I've noticed lately, or pretty much since we started, if you ain't watching, you ain't winning, because we tend to hit a lot of winners around here. Tom, what do you think?
We certainly try to find them.
Yeah, well, that's at least the intent. It's not always the outcome.
Well, sometimes our crystal ball is not working as well as it should.
Yes, it's a little cold and it gets cloudy.
Yeah, gets a little cloudy.
All right, any final words from you, Tom, before we get up and out of here on this Horn Friday?
As always with Hong Kong, except for the 2 Group 1s, the other fields are full. And sometimes strange things happen. So make sure you take a good look. Again, I don't see any short price favorites in those races, but definitely short price favorites in those 2 group races.
Yeah, the Group 1 races. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the one horse in race 6, I forget the name off the top of my head right now, but it's probably
Horizon.
Yeah, it's probably the most likely winner on the entire card, and probably going to be the lowest odds of the day too, I would suspect.
Well, and the other thing that's interesting with this one is that if it continues on this pattern, they're thinking very seriously of running it in the Everest, which is the richest 6 furlong or 1,200 meter race. It's what, 20 million Australian.
$20 million bucks. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
So they're looking big things out of that horse going forward.
I'd like to have a horse that can enter into a $20 million race.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah, it would be. Just once, man. I'd like to have that feeling. All right, Thomas, as always, the pleasure's mine working with you on Horn Friday. Looking forward to next Friday at Royal Randwick. Again, Monday. Tuesday, we'll be doing parks, Terry and I. Wednesday, Thursday, Gulfstream Park. Next Friday, Royal Randwick. You don't want to miss any of that. Till then, no matter what you're doing, you're chasing life goals, hell, you just want a little R&R. We certainly hope you have God's grace, God's favor, and everything ends up in
the winner's enclosure.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Make it a fantastic, blessed weekend.